On the news, silver lining ahead as Minister of Education says University Transparency Accountability Solution UTAS better than IPs. Emirates Airlines suspends all flights to Nigeria from September the 1st. And Lagos State Government extends Okada ban to more local government areas. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogrinde. One of the major disagreements between the federal government and the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, may have been resolved. This comes as the Minister of Education, Adamu, at a briefing held at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Thursday, explained that after intensive testing, the committee finds UTAS and U3PS better than IPs. The minister, however, clarified that government has not approved the University Transparency Accountability Solution UTAS as a payment platform of lecturers.
Government has not approved UTAS. What I know the last on this issue is a committee has worked and tested all the three platforms, IPPIS, UTAS, U3PS. And the preliminary result shows that these two new ones are better than IPs in so many respects. But the decision of government will depend on what ultimately is given in the report that is being readied now.
The minister also insisted that it would not succumb to ASU's demand for their members to be paid the backlog of salaries withheld within the period of the 6-month strike, saying that it is a penalty for the action. Adamu also disclosed that 5 of the university-based unions will likely call off their strike within the next 1 week, while that of ASU remains uncertain.
I have 6 unions I'm dealing with. ASUP, that is the Association Polytechnic. Then I have COASU, Colleges of Education Academic Staff. Then I have NASU, I have SANU, I have NAT, then I have ASU. Recently, we had a meeting with the president, and let me even go back to that meeting. During the meeting, that was when education demanded to start leading the negotiations. I don't want to tell you what led to education not doing so. And this was granted. The president never gave me any deadline. So you shouldn't start asking me why I haven't delivered in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Or I know I promised that I could do it within the shortest possible time. And for your information, 1 week after that pledge, I had already finished my job because I had given all the unions, all the 6 of them, the offer made by government. And I want to tell you, in principle, all of them accepted it. The only exception was ASU that gave me 2 other conditions, which I told them there, this will not be acceptable to government. But I had to report back, and it was turned down. And I called the negotiation committee 2 days ago and told them this is the stand of my informal contact with ASU. Please, they should go and continue the renegotiation. Let ASU tell them their official position now. They met yesterday and day before yesterday. I think ASU are consulting their principals, consulting the people on campuses whether to call it off. And let me just tell you what they are asking is they can accept this if the federal government will agree to pay the salary for the month they have not worked. And I told them the federal government will not.
Emirates Airlines has announced the suspension of its flight operations to Nigeria starting from September 1st, 2022. The flag carrier of the United Arab Emirates disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, citing the inability to repatriate its earnings and foreign exchange from Nigeria. The airline said the suspension would limit further losses and reduce the impact on its operational costs that continue to accumulate in the Nigerian market. In a letter addressed to the minister and signed by Emirates Airlines Divisional Senior Vice President, International Affairs, Sheikh Majid Al-Mualla, the airline said the planned reductions in its operations in Nigeria would take effect from August 15, 2022, adding that flights would be reduced from 11 per week to 7 per week at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Well, the suspension of the flight operations to Nigeria by Emirates Airlines is coming about 3 weeks after the airlines appealed to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, to support the repatriation of its revenue, set to be $600 million. The suspension also comes amidst the overnight increase in the price of aviation fuel, otherwise known as Jet A1, as the price hit 903 naira per litre on Wednesday from 880 naira on Monday. To analyze the current crisis in the aviation sector, Olumide Onwayo, Assistant Secretary General, Aviation Roundtable Initiative, joins me now on the news. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, it's common knowledge that there is shortage of dollars, but the sum of $600 million is quite huge. So how bad really is the situation?
Well, it's not bad, just as you have heard it. The $600 million is not owed to Emirates alone. It's the cumulative funds that are trapped in Nigeria for the foreign airlines. Nigeria is the highest debtor now, but there are other countries in the world too that are owing this money. The sum money owed foreign airlines world over is about $1,620 million. Nigeria is the highest, owing $600 million. We have other countries, Zimbabwe, Angola, trouble with Lebanon, Iran, those are the countries owing those foreign airlines. And this money was about $280 million in March this year. It moved up to about $450 around June, and as of today, it's hovering at about 600 and above. So it shows that we have not made any efforts from January to now to repatriate this funds. Despite all entries from the foreign airlines, and even by the representative, the IATA, the National Air Transport Association, that came to Nigeria and met with the presidency for the repatriation of this funds. These funds were not being repatriated, and that's why we are having this issue with Emirates now. And it's not Emirates alone. Other airlines are also preparing to have the same action. Remember that Emirates wrote us about 2-3 weeks ago that they're reducing their frequency, and because of their complete costs, their fund is trapped, and they felt they could use those trapped funds to buy additional fuel to reduce the expenses. But the oil market, the Nigerian oil market, has refused to accept naira, asking them to pay in dollars. So they have to bring from the scarce funds they have to pay for operations out of Nigeria. So that they've been putting money, spending money on the operation, and they're not able to recoup their revenue. Hence, this action of stopping flights from September 1st, we expect to affect the traveling public. Once they take their capacity out, you should have the first jump would almost double on international routes. Public now would have to struggle to get a seat. And
now, sorry to interrupt you there. There's a critical situation right now. Turkish Airlines recently announced that it has commenced issuing tickets in US dollars and no more in naira. Now, how will this impact Nigerians and the Nigerian economy?
The law of the currency says we are going to transact the goods and services in naira. But now they are boldly told the world that yes, we have behaved responsibly, and thereafter they have to also behave. They take actions that will reduce their losses. It's not right for Turkish Airlines to start selling dollars, but if they are not, they don't. Because for other airlines now, what they have done now is that it's only flights originating from Nigeria they collect in naira. Anyone originating from outside Nigeria now, you would have to pay in dollars, which is what they came before. So whenever you're selling that ticket in Nigeria, you're supposed to pay in naira. But now they have put their own rules, and just flights are originating from outside Nigeria, you'll be collecting dollars. But if you're originating in Nigeria, you're collecting naira. So those are some things that the airlines have introduced now to cushion the effects of these trapped funds in Nigeria, in Nigerian banks. The money are trapped in the account in Nigeria, not with the central bank. They're supposed to move the money to their countries through the Central Bank of Nigeria, not through black market transactions.
Well, indeed, Olumide Onwayo, Assistant Secretary General, Aviation Roundtable Initiative. Thank you very much for your time and your contribution. The Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, has criticized the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, describing his recent claims and actions as fraudulent and self-serving over the $418 million Paris Club refund. The chairman of the group, Kayode Fayemi, told the media after a meeting on Wednesday that the forum would take every constitutional and legal means to ensure that the purported consultancies are fully litigated by the Supreme Court. Fayemi insisted that there is no liability by the states and only the courts can determine if the NGF states are indeed liable, adding that Malami was acting in his personal interest.
This matter is sub judice, and we are very reluctant to get in the way of a matter that is still being pursued in the courts. We're constrained by the manner in which the Honorable Attorney General has been going around various media houses and purporting to create the impression that this is a liability to which governors have committed themselves to and agreed to, even though he is very much aware that that's not the case. And we reject all of the claims that he has made on these issues. And we also insist that states will not give up on insisting that these purported claims are fraudulent and will not stand as far as governors are concerned. And we will take every constitutional and legal means to ensure that these purported consultancies are fully litigated upon by the highest court in the land.
The federal government has blamed its inability to reach the target of 5,000 megawatts of electricity generation as promised on the shortage of gas supply. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu said this at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Aliyu said power generation had remained at around 4,000 megawatts due to gas constraints, despite the government's contracts with the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. Our correspondent, Mary Kanu, has the details in this report.
The Ministers of Power, Information and Niger Delta settling in for the week's briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday. In the first quarter of 2022, the federal government had assured that power generation will exceed 5,000 megawatts. The Minister of Power, Aliyu Abubakar, at the briefing spoke on the federal government's inability to achieve the promised target, saying it was due to shortage of gas supply.
Since 1st of July, that we'll be able to raise it up to 5,000 when we activated the contract. And we have not been able to do so due to some issues around gas contracts, gas to power, which we are trying to take care. Gas is not something that we control directly. You have to pay them. You have to pay gas. They will not give you gas until you pay. So we are looking at ways to solve that issue. It is the reason why we are unable to reach that 5,000 we promise you by July 1st of this year.
The recent reports by the National Bureau of Statistics on the country's inflation rate soaring to its worst in 17 years was addressed by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who assured Nigerians that the federal government will adopt different strategies to tackle inflation.
Inflation is a global issue. A lot of things going on, globally. But what governments do to stem inflation varies from government to government. Sometimes it is the kind of the way you adjust your interest rate or the way you introduce certain physical measures that would allow you to bring down the inflation.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Umana, disclosed the council approved an augmentation of 765.9 million naira, which is an addition to the initially approved sum of 1.786 billion naira to conduct a forensic audit of the NDDC board.
The additional costs of carrying out the forensic audit exercise was considered and approved by Council. For reasons of the additional number of projects and the additional time taken, Council approved a revised additional sum of 765,974,975 naira 50 kobo to cover the additional works done by the forensic auditors.
Reacting to insinuations on the delay in constituting the board of NDDC, Umana said nobody was averse to constituting the board. Rather, the white paper needed to be released to ascertain those who were culpable in fleecing the agency. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
The Lagos State government has extended Okada ban to 4 more local government areas and 5 local council development areas in the state. According to the Commissioner for Transport, Frederick Oladende, the ban is to take full effect from September 1st, 2022. The additional councils are Kosofe, Oshodi, Isolo, Shomolu and Mushin local government. Other LCDAs are Ikosi, Isheri, Apoyi Ketu, Isolo, Bariga and Odi Olowo LCDA. He also assured Lagosians that the government has put measures in place to cushion the impact of the most recent ban on Okada in the commercial city, reiterating that the move is in the best interest of residents. Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria's Asisat Oshola misses out on final Ballon d'Or nominations. Details of this story and more right after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. One of the major disagreements between the federal government and the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, may have been resolved. This comes as the Minister of Education, Adamu, at a briefing held at the Presidential Villa on Thursday, explained that after intensive testing, the committee finds UTAS and U3PS better than IPs. The minister, however, clarified that government has not approved the University Transparency Accountability Solution UTAS as a payment platform for lecturers. We also told you that Emirates Airlines has announced the suspension of its flight operations to Nigeria starting from September the 1st, 2022. The airline said the suspension would limit further losses and reduce the impact on its operational costs that continues to accumulate in the Nigerian market. But in case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. More than 5 million people have been ordered to undergo COVID-19 testing in the coastal Chinese city of Xiamen this week after some 40 cases of the virus were detected. In recent weeks, Xiamen's Jimei Maritime Pandemic Control District Committee has issued a notice ordering both fishermen and their seafood to be tested after return to their ports. Chinese media have long expressed concerns that sea life might have links to the coronavirus after the first ever COVID-19 outbreak was linked to a live animal and seafood market in central Wuhan. Meanwhile, the southern Chinese province of Hainan, a coastal region like Xiamen, has recorded more than 10,000 cases of COVID-19 since the beginning of August, and the authorities have said they believe this outbreak is likely to be linked to the fishing community. We'll take another breather and return with more stories in business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Well, Simisola Adiguna joins us for more stories in business. Simisola, what's the latest?
Many thanks, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. As part of efforts to sanitize the money lending industry, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has conducted enforcement action against Soko Lending Limited. According to the commission, the enforcement action was carried out after intelligence gathering and surveillance on the money lending company. Speaking to journalists at the end of the exercise, the Executive Vice Chairman of the FCCPC, Babatunde Irukera, explained that the action against Soko Lending Limited would serve as a deterrent to other lending companies who have refused to get necessary authorization.
The target today was one of the biggest ones that operates amorphously in different brand names. For instance, we're here, we know that that company that we've come to enforce against is the one operating here. We've got our operatives and at least one other location right now as we speak, and they're doing exactly what we have done here. And so we believe that the companies that we've sought out to enforce against today would, success of that enforcement would address a significant amount of the remaining violations. That company is Soko Lending, and it's a very notorious company, and it has demonstrated both its a penchant for versatility to be able to recalibrate itself very quickly. It's not the first time we've taken some kind of enforcement action against it, and it has also shown that it is unwilling to be subject to regulation. But we're pretty certain that after the efforts today and what is to come, we will hold Soko Loan accountable, just like we've held others accountable, and they're going to have a very, very difficult time returning to business without complying with the law. Continuing to chase after these apps is not sustainable, neither is it the most efficient or effective way to address this. So one of the things that is coming up today is an interim framework where Google will not put up any other app for business in Nigeria unless they show some regulatory approval.
We'll now take a short break and be back with stock market reports. Well, it's another day of loss for equities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange as sentiment continues to worsen on the bourse amid sell pressure. Stock value decreased by 0.29%. Thursday's negative close was caused largely by top laggards Okomo Oil Palm PLC, NEM Insurance PLC, and University Press PLC. Now, at the close of trading, the all-share index also dropped to 49,546 basis points and 26 trillion naira for the market cap. As I said before, NEM Insurance PLC and Okomo Oil PLC are Thursday's biggest laggards with a combined loss of a whopping 199 naira 27 kobo. Topping the gainers list, we have FTN, Cocoa Processors, and Regency Alliance Insurance with a gain of just 58 kobo. In 3,180 deals, 102 listed equities exchanged 146 million volume of shares with a value of over 2 billion naira. The story is no different for trading in foreign stocks as the markets have remained bearish amid concerns about an impending recession. So there are select global stocks, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, yield to pressure ending in the red zone. Only the UK's FTSE had a good trading, ending in the bulls at 0.35%. Well, that's all on stock. It's back to you, Folashade.
Many thanks, Simisala, for that update on the foreign scene. Algerian firefighters continue to battle a string of blazes fanned by drought and a blistering heat wave that have left destruction in their wake. According to multiple sources, at least 38 people have been killed, mostly in El Taf province, near Algeria's eastern border with Tunisia. Emergency services also battled the blaze around Tonga Lake, which experienced major damage. According to witnesses, 12 people had been burnt to death in the bus as they tried to escape. Deadly forest fires have become an annual scourge in the North African country, where the climate crisis is turning large areas into danger zones. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nigerian singer Buju Benson will have questions to answer after boasting on Twitter of how he spat on a police officer's face. Of course, the musician has since deleted the tweet. Lagos State Police spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin, in a tweet as well, said the star will surely answer for his assault on a police officer. Hundeyin added that officers involved in the case will also be investigated. Benson was involved in an altercation with men of the Nigerian police force on Wednesday afternoon. In a video that has since gone viral, the singer is seen shirtless with just a singlet, arguing and confronting the officers who apparently blocked his car. The creator of North Korean series Squid Game has revealed that contrary to fans' expectations, the sequel will be a natural evolution from where the story stopped in season 1, which will lead to all the way to the end. Released in 2021, the Netflix smash hit follows the backstory of protagonist Gi-hun, a down-and-out chauffeur who is invited alongside 455 indebted players to play a series of children's games for the grand prize of $45.6 billion. The gamers soon discover that losing the games results in their deaths. And that's all we have on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment and out of sports, the hopes of a Nigerian winning the Ballon d'Or award for this year have been lost as Barcelona striker Sisat Oshoala has been left out on the list of the final 3 nominees in the female category. The Super Falcons star was named in a 20-woman list of nominees for the 2022 Women's Ballon d'Or, making her the first ever African woman to achieve the feat. Oshoala's nomination comes after she was named the CAF Women's Player of the Year for a record 5th time in July. Despite missing about 7 weeks due to injury last season, Oshoala finished as Barcelona's top flight league's top scorer, netting 20 goals in 19 games, tied with Madrid's Gacy Ferreira. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Fola Shadi. Green Day. Bye for now.